Welcome to the After the Show Movie Podcast, brought to you by your hosts, Ascully and Cidtalk. We're addicted to movies. Are you? Welcome, Cidtalk. How are you doing?
Who, me? Oh, I'm sorry. I was busy reading. I was distracted in the last 10 seconds. I'm doing good.
Ah.
So far, so good.
So far, so good.
I'm knocking wood, touching wood, whatever that thing is.
Wood.
Touch wood. How are you?
I'm very good.
Is this the before the episode discussion? The before the episode discussion was this movie and how hot it is. And we're not going to tell you how hot it is because it's boring, but it is.
And it was my birthday this week.
Oh, yeah, that wasn't boring. That was fun.
I had a good birthday.
What did you get?
Got all kinds of things. I got a blanket with Dune on it because I love Dune.
Well, you got it because it was on your Amazon wish list.
Yeah. If I love it, it's probably on that.
There's no mystery in gift giving anymore. You just put it on a wish list and then somebody's like, oh, bop, 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 bop. It's like a gift card, but it's one step closer to being like personal.
But I appreciate it.
I know, me too. And today you got the final gift, which was a bottle of.
Yeah, a bottle of...
They bottle up Subway's sauces now, and you like the Baja Chipotle. So I got you a bottle of that. And
that is a great... I'm going to drink it all down later.
And a Kit Kat.
Oh.
You can put the sauce on the Kit Kat. What?
Anyway, I'm 55 years old, very old, elderly.
Welcome. Oh, wait, I'm older than you, but...
You're extremely elderly. I'm just elderly.
You were born in 69. I'm born in 67. We're not that far apart.
No. All right, let's get on with it. And happy birthday to me.
Yes.
Belated.
I'm glad you've been alive this long.
Thank you. Thank you. I plan on staying alive a little bit longer. Just a little bit.
I'll be here for it.
Just until my knees give in or something like that.
Hey, watch it.
Then put me down.
Watch it. Oh, yeah. After I just said I'm having a hard time with my knees on the stairs. So you are making a statement. The public has heard it. So if you watch Forensic Files in the future and this podcasting guy is accused of his wife suddenly dying suspiciously, you'll know.
You will.
You thought it was time to put me down.
All right. It's Saturday, July the 13th. It's After the Show. We're a movie review podcast. Every week we look at a new movie. And this week on episode 847, we're looking at the movie Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F. It's a 2024 movie out now on Netflix. You can stream it. It's rated R. This runtime is 1 hour and 58 minutes. And Cidtalk is going to give you the synopsis of the fabulous Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F.
I mean, there's criminals and then there's Axel, and he's running amok to try to solve the crime.
All right.
And Kevin Bacon.
I'll give you the one off the Netflix description. There is no box.
It can't be better than that.
Axel Foley returns to Beverly Hills after his daughter's life is threatened and works with his old pals John Taggart and Billy Rosewood to uncover a conspiracy.
I mean, it's that, but that's not really it, is it?
That's not what you came for.
I mean, that's like your elevator pitch.
Yeah. I think that's what a synopsis is.
Is it?
Yeah. It's like your elevator pitch.
There's more to it. And I'm just going to put this out there before you ask me how I like it. I really liked it.
How did you like it, Cidtalk?
I really liked it. I mean, I'm nostalgic. I get it. I have not seen all the Beverly Hills Cop movies. And so I'm not tainted, they say.
Yeah.
1 and 2 might have been it.
Well,
I'm not sure.
Well, there was only 3.
Right. So I don't think. And even then, I kind of let 2 just go away from my brain. And I just stuck with my memories of watching Beverly Hills Cop at the theater when I was younger. And then probably over 100 times on HBO. And then anytime it would come on TBS in the evening or late at night or on a holiday, and if it was halfway over, you just left it on because it was Beverly Hills Cop and you're waiting for the banana in the tailpipe and the which he didn't do this time.
That's the donkey from Shrek.
That's him laughing. And so did someone copyright that away from him? I don't know, but he didn't laugh that. And
maybe Shrek copyrighted it. They're like, Eddie Murphy making that noise only belongs to us.
Oh, maybe, but I don't know. How did you like it?
Now, my relationship with the Beverly Hills Cop movies is I saw the first one on VHS, saw the second one, and you know what? Eddie Murphy hates the third one, but the third one was like my favorite one when I was growing up.
Oh,
because it had a fun fair in it. And I loved the part where he was hanging off the Ferris wheel. Remember that part?
I don't think
nobody
I watched
remembers that
it. I
part.
don't think I watched it. And also, my opinion of you might be going down.
So it's just one of those things. Sometimes that's the one you're exposed mostly to, right? So I was exposed mostly to the third one.
So you're saying no matter what the quality is of the thing, if you're exposed to it enough, you think it's good.
Yeah, that's your one. Yes.
Well, I mean, in anything, in life.
Yeah.
This is your life philosophy. So that explains a lot. Oh my God, I think we've just cracked something about the human psyche.
So I didn't mind that third one. It's the same as the other two. I don't even understand why people think it's just the same.
I feel like I have to respect the people who make a thing if they don't like it anymore. I don't know.
Eddie Murphy has gone on record saying he despises the third one.
Maybe I should have a Beverly Hills Cop marathon sometime and watch it all and just, put it all back in perspective. But as for today and this and him and the vibe.
So this is like
loved it.
I said to you when we had a break in the middle of the movie, I said, it doesn't feel like they tried to super modernize it.
Correct.
It feels like just another Beverly Hills Cop movie. Yes, there are some like modern day things thrown in there.
I can predict what your 1-star reviews are going to say.
They're going to say it's woke.
It's a little woke. Yeah. Because you know what? Axel's an older man.
Right.
And also, let's go back to the elderly thing when you said after one of the breaks, you mean the multiple pee breaks that you needed during the movie? So let's not talk about elderly anymore.
Yeah, I have the prostate the size of a walnut.
And you drink enough water to like kill a camel. So yeah.
I have to pee twice an hour.
Everyone loves to hear this, I'm sure.
I'm sure. I enjoyed this for what it is.
I laughed. I
think it
cried.
fits within the universe. It's not more than I was expecting, and it's not less either. It's just what I was expecting.
It's more than I was expecting. And
it is.
Yeah. Full disclosure, I had strained relationship with my father.
Right.
He's dead now. And that's a theme in this movie is he has a daughter. She's grown. She's a lawyer. And the theme of estrangement, I'm familiar with. I mean, I'm in my late 50s and this happened many years ago. So I was ahead of the curve on estranging yourself from a parent who was just not being a parent, right? So that part I appreciated. And it wasn't done delicately or sweetly or like, oh, everything's great. I mean, they had to work at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the things that they said, like one of the lines where he says he went to therapy and he's like, well, I didn't really, but I looked up some stuff, which means he's self-aware. He's becoming self-aware to try to figure out how to fix this, right? And that he says, we all made mistakes, as if to say, I'm blaming you too, which is also what my parent did and what other parents do that I know who are estranged from their grown children. And she said to him, if you had gone to therapy or really thought about it, you would know a parent is always the parent and the child is always the child. And that's kind of a statement. And it really like took him back. And then I was like, okay, he's going to think about it. And we didn't get all rosy, smiley, we're all hunky-dory and I'm a great father in the end. It was just, it made sense. And that's one of the things I really enjoyed. So maybe I'm biased.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that.
Yeah. And the plot of the movie is, it's forgettable in my mind.
Absolutely.
It's just a plot.
Getting some evidence to clear a guy to then put a bent cop, as you would say, or a corrupt cop away.
Yeah. It's nothing special.
No.
There's no super twist to it. There's nothing, is there? It's just a plot that gets Axel in car chases and weird chases in a helicopter, all that stuff.
Yeah.
It basically is, you can forget about the plot.
It's a tool.
Yeah. Because, halfway through I was like, yeah, is this going to have a twist? Because I already know who the bad guy is the second he's on the screen. Like it was obvious.
You said at some point, because like one of the multiple pee breaks, you said you liked how it wasn't going all modern as in how they were telling it. And the old fashioned version is this old fashioned story of a corrupt cop.
Yeah, it's super old fashioned.
Yes. And, Axel's got what he thinks is his moral high ground and then they threaten his daughter also and they threatened Judge Reinhold. What's his name? Billy.
Yep.
And we've got the old Taggart who's old and has retired but didn't retire. And we've got, what's his name?
Sergey, who's Pinchot.
The real estate agent, was hilarious.
Yeah. So
there's lots of like bits and pieces that just kept me entertained, and it didn't actually all need to string together. And that's a scary thought.
And it's tons of nostalgia, clearly.
Absolutely.
Within the first 10 seconds, the song is playing.
And he's right on the screen. You're not even like...
No. Yeah.
We're not even pretending.
No reveal.
Nope. It's just him driving down the street of Detroit.
The song's playing.
Everybody knows him. And that's it. I like that.
Yeah. Not, oh, here's the setup, and then reveal, there's Eddie Murphy.
Or that Eddie Murphy's being held hostage somewhere and we don't get to see him until minute number 47. He's in like every single scene. Yeah.
Did you still find him funny after all these years? Is it?
I think because my age and his age and the way that he is, yes.
Yeah.
And fascinating. I felt like Eddie Murphy was thinking about Axel Foley and the way he watches people when they're talking. Did you notice every person, Kevin Bacon, Eddie Murphy, like squints his eyes and kind of looks him straight in the eye, kind of like Larry David, you know? Like,
right.
I'm looking deep into your soul. And then he kind of looks him up and down. Every person, everybody.
Right.
And I feel like that's what gives Axel his thing, because he's sort of fly by the seat of his pants kind of guy, right? But he knows. He knows when you're good. He knows when you're bad. And so I really liked observing him in a different way. It wasn't just like stringing along from joke to joke. It was like scene to scene of wanting to hear him.
And it's not over the top
lines
with its jokes.
No.
Like, it's not trying to be wacky. It's just... what I expected.
I feel like they got some of the wackiness out of the way in the very first bit with the hockey match and the truck in the street. And then after that, it kind of mellowed out.
It is a series of chases in vehicles.
Yes.
And stupid vehicles too, because if you look back at the older movies, what it's famous for is Axel has to get in a car chase, but there's never like a car available, so he's either in like a golf cart or something stupid that's the ridiculous thing for a chase.
I didn't remember any of that.
Yeah, it did happen in those, especially the funfair one. But in this movie, he's in like a construction vehicle, he's in a golf cart, he's in a helicopter that there isn't really a proper pilot for. What else is he in? He's in some weird shit in this movie.
A meter-maid truck, little meter-maid kart. I mean, it's a golf cart, essentially, right?
Yeah. So there's a lot of like awkward, weird chases that happen to be funny. And that's where a lot of the comedy comes from in the action scenes. The action scenes are quite big as well.
Sure.
When he's running down a
lot of cars got demolished.
Yeah, and there seems to be a lot of extras or people everywhere. It's not like an empty street. It's like full of people all the time. Which I thought, how the hell did they do that? Through Beverly Hills.
I mean, it's Los Angeles. People aren't going to be like, oh, cute, you're making a movie. We'll just step aside for you. They're just like, oh, you're making a movie. Yawn. Right. We're just going to go on about our business.
Even the helicopter going down the street looked very convincing.
It did.
So,
I was impressed.
Yeah, all the action is up to standard. It's like cool, funny. It's never a serious action. There's a big shootout with people dying all over the place, but then even that didn't feel super... It didn't feel like dangerous or anything, did it? It's like Billy's just having a conversation with his friend there while everybody's dying around them,
Yeah.
So that's where I was saying it's just using the old-fashioned Beverly Hills formula and not really taking it like, I like that. I like that they weren't going, well, let's every single thing in this movie be the comparison between the 80s and today.
Like what Miami Vice movie did, or Dukes of Hazzard. They all kind of like tried to slick it up.
Right.
For the time period that they made the movie in. I mean, I know Beverly Hills Cop wasn't a TV show, but you know what I mean? Trying to bring a thing back and then totally glossing it up. I don't feel like they did that.
No, it's just it's almost like the movie was made straight after the last one. And it doesn't feel like it's in a time up. It doesn't have him like, oh, I'm fiddling with a cell phone or anything, does it? He's just Axel F. He's just doing his thing.
He's not a fish out of water in any...
None of that, yeah.
And I like that. That's good.
There's a part where he drove down the street when he first arrived in Beverly Hills at the beginning, and it was showing you like how ridiculous kind of Beverly Hills is with the kind of people and everything. And I was like, well, It's not like he doesn't know these people exist. It's not like he's been in cryostasis for 30 years.
But remember, the first scene is him driving down the street of Detroit
And
in
it's
a place
tough
where, well, the thing about the contrast was everyone knew who he was.
Mhm.
Everyone in Detroit. So he's comfortable. He's been there for 40 years being a cop. Everybody knows him. Some people don't like him, apparently, but he's comfortable there. He's like big fish in a little pond, so to speak. Coming to Los Angeles, it is like he's starting again. No, it's all foreign to him, so to speak. That's what I got out of that scene.
Yeah. And we don't have to spoil the plot. Yeah, I think if you like this kind of movie, go and see it.
I think we already have.
Yeah, or you already have because it came out on July the 3rd. So maybe you did see it.
No, I mean, we've already talked about it.
I mean, we haven't. We didn't say what happens, is what I'm getting at. There's an outline and then stuff happens. But like I said to you, I'm not surprised by anything. There's no shock, anything. It's just, here's some more of Axel Foley. Do you like him? If you do, you probably like it.
Yeah, and if you don't, you don't. You're right.
If you don't watch it. Let's get on to the cast. Eddie Murphy returns as Axel Foley. I think he is very good in the role of Axel Foley. I don't know if it's just like nostalgia or if those older movies didn't exist and this came out today exactly as it is, would it be any good?
Oh, that's a challenging question.
Or is it just the nostalgia that gets you?
I think that could also be applied to a lot of things in life.
Yeah.
Right? Is this good? Is Pizza Hut thick crust pizza good because it's good, or good because I had it when I was 12 and it was like the most amazing thing I'd ever had in my life? You see what I'm saying?
It's all nostalgia. Like we work in, our brains operate on a nostalgia level, I think. So as soon as Eddie Murphy's in the car and the song starts playing, it's like, oh, I'm transported to something.
Like a Pavlovian dog response?
Yeah. And if you didn't have any of that,
we're totally brainwashed.
let's say you didn't have any of that memory and today's movie started and it just played out like it did. And you've got nothing. You don't know the songs. You don't know. Is it great or is it just an average police thing?
I'm going to go out and say it's not great.
Right.
But other than that, I'd have to ask someone who's never seen it. I mean, I have young people.
I would love to know somebody's opinion who has never watched any of this and they just watched this one. What do they think? Do they love it? Do they think it's funny?
Kind of applies to like...
Do they think it's dated?
When our nephew was little and the Star Wars he watched first was...
The Phantom Menace.
Episode 1. And so, and he was in love with it, right? He acted it out all the time. He did all the stuff. He was totally into all of it. And, you as a Star Wars person from your youth, probably about the same age actually as him when Star Wars came out, aging you yet again. When you watch that, it's not the same.
No.
And then when he would watch A New Hope, it wasn't the same for him.
No.
So I think you're onto something. We are solving all kinds of psychological stuff today.
So back to Eddie Murphy. What do you reckon? You liked him. He was funny. And I think he really fits this role clearly. I mean... Well,
I don't think it's for you to judge.
I also like him in 48 Hours, but it's a very similar guy.
It is?
Yeah.
Well, he's a criminal.
Yeah. It's the same, like cheeky chappy.
If I watched that again, would I be like, ugh, probably.
Yeah, probably. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, he's the new guy here. He plays Bobby Abbott. And I thought he was really, really funny.
Yeah,
and,
I liked him.
Quite a good character too.
Yes.
Especially with the, let's say the cartel. That scene.
Yes.
Yeah. We've got returning.
He serves a purpose.
Yes.
He's got enough awkwardness because of a situation.
And he was a fun character.
But he's also not like, he also reminds us of some of that, the old memes, so to speak, of how we expect characters to talk to each other and like get under their skin. And when Axel tries to insult him like manly like thing, he's like, yeah, that doesn't work anymore.
Right.
I kind of like that.
Yeah. Yeah. He put him in his place straight away, basically, didn't he? Yeah. So we've also got Judge Reinhold as Billy Rosewood. He's not in it a lot.
He's not.
No, but he's in it.
I think that's fair.
We've got Taylor Page as Jane Saunders, and she's Axel's daughter.
Correct.
And she was actually very, very good.
It was very good.
Any of the like serious acting scenes that are not actually played for laughs, which mostly involved her and Axel, they were really like emotional.
Absolutely.
That's the part of the movie I didn't expect. I thought it was all going to be goofy a bit.
Yucking it up.
We've got John Ashton again as John Taggart. He's a stereotype.
Yeah, he's the old dude.
Well, that was the idea of him.
Complaining about being married. I mean, again, it's the old-fashioned thing. It's one of the old-fashioned things I could live without. But, you know, hey, you gotta mix it all together.
I almost like the idea that they don't change the characters because of the times. Like, Taggart's Taggart, and that's what he is.
But Axel's evolving.
Yeah, he seems to be the only one evolving. And Bronson Pinchot as Sergei. He returns.
The thing is, here's the deal. I didn't remember him fully from the original.
Right.
I remember Axel, you know, his accent thing. I didn't remember what his purpose was or what his character really did. And then you reminded me that he got him guns and gadgets.
He did, yeah.
I don't remember that. Was that in the first one?
It was in the second and the third one.
Okay. Yeah. So in the first one, I think he just meets him as a character and then people loved him and they bring him back. In this one, he's just that. I mean, it's nice to see him, but there's no real...
He don't really do anything.
No, he's just there for, we've said it a lot, nostalgia.
And
he's fine. I like him. I like
to see him. You kind of feel good
things.
when he turns up.
Yes.
And then you're like... And then he kind of gets upstaged by this new lady.
Which she was really funny.
Yeah, she was basically like a female him.
Oh my gosh. Well, no, she's a real estate agent. And if you watch any of those shows... like selling Beverly Hills or selling Sydney, Australia, where they're selling like multi-million-dollar properties and they show you the little parties where the real estate people hang out. She's that. And she's really, I love how she's like, so, and she's trying to sell the house kind of, but then she's like, it's just really awful, isn't it? So I'm single. Yeah. My boyfriend did this thing. We're working on it. So yeah.
She's just.
Like, she's just in it. I loved it. I loved her.
Just let's all have a sauna together.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's just crazy. So yeah, she kind of comes along and then he just kind of disappears.
Yeah.
Even though he's in the scene, you're like, oh, she's being the funny person, not him. This is directed by Mark Malloy. He's never directed a movie before. First movie. What do you think?
I think it's all right. I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
A lot of action, the drama things, the conversations, father-daughter stuff is good. I mean, I don't know what the vision was, but I feel like it works for me.
Yeah, I feel like it was, it all came together. It's a lot of it is an action movie. Yes, it's a comedy, but there's also a ton of action. It's like an old school Jerry Bruckheimer, who also produced this. It's like one of his old school movies, like full of action. And well, here's a movie that I would say is kind of like it. Con Air.
Right.
A Bruckheimer movie it's silly, but when the action kicks in, it's full on action. And that's kind of what he's famous for. This is the same thing. It's skewed a bit towards the funny side a bit more, I guess. But if you think, oh, there probably won't be much action in it, you'll be surprised. There's a lot. And
what you said, you read up a little bit on the sort of history of getting this to this point with Beverly Hills Cop franchise, as they say.
Took a long time.
It's been fraught, with like lots of ups and downs. So for them to eventually end up trusting, because it's Eddie Murphy's production company, you said. Right. So for them to end up trusting someone, is it trust or is it like, here's a puppet we can control? That just occurred to me as it was coming out of my mouth.
Right.
We don't want to get a Kevin Smith in here.
Yeah.
Who might want to try to do his own thing.
Yeah.
And then be pissy about it. Sorry, Kevin. But when you did the cop one, whatever it was called.
Cop Out.
Yeah. But I think if this person had a vision of making this movie, it's edited well, it's paced well, I grasp all the storyline just goes, even though it's basic.
It's very basic.
There's no messing around. You just want to lavish in the relationship with the father and the daughter. So that, again, I'm very biased. I'm accepting this. The more I say it, the more I realize I'm probably not the best reviewer for this movie.
And in my little bit of research I did after this movie was a TV movie called Beverly Hills Cop from the early 2000s. They actually made the TV movie, and it was Axel Foley, and he hadn't got a daughter, he got a son in this version. And his son was the new Axel Foley, basically, and he was the wise father who would tell him what to do. It never saw the light of day, even though
got made.
It got made. The whole thing exists. but it hasn't been seen outside of like Hollywood people.
Is it
who
like
watch
some of those movies that Prince had people come and make at his
kind of like that,
complex, but then he just stuck them in a vault?
They actually made it. They brought back even the people from this movie. You know, they were all in it. So that was a different version. I don't know if you can see that somewhere, but that exists.
And again, if after all that, they're still wanting this person who's not made a movie to be in the project manager, essentially, the creative project manager, I think that's saying a lot.
All right. IMDB reviews. What are those?
Those are when you find reviews of a movie where people give it 1 out of 5 stars. And they say things like this. It was a waste of time. This movie never should have been made.
Well,
this is the worst movie that's ever been made.
Actually, they say things like this. Virtually unwatchable Netflix garbage.
Oh, they do say virtual unwatchable these days. Yes.
Embarrassing, featuring parodies of characters we used to love 40 years ago. Directing is poor. Huge budget YouTube. Most of the acting is sitcom. The script is awful, littered with attempts at humor a second. Of course, a good portion of movie has to focus on strong black daughter. That's I'm reading how it's said. I'm not putting on a funny.
They have to say. They have to add that.
Well,
is it AI? Is it AI like jerk AI?
Second guy or girl says, "What an embarrassment! Even worse than anticipated. First, you've got Eddie Murphy with his plastic surgery face, where every muscle is stuck in place." Frozen in time. Well done, Dr. Frankenstein. The movie misses its mark every time. It is not funny, and Kevin Bacon, it is not his finest hour.
I mean, did we watch the same movie? Am I just so completely brainwashed by the memory of Axel Foley?
And number 3 says, it's boring and forced from its tired opening to its sleepy finish. Axel F is this complete snooze fest. Watching the 84 classic prior to this entry makes it inescapable nostalgia that can only carry a film so far. The plot is cliche, and the callbacks pull across the screen with the grace of an arthritic senior citizen wading through wet concrete.
Watch it, reviewer.
That's what it says.
You know what? I can't disagree with all of that because we have already drawn to everyone's attention.
Yes.
That when you love something, and then some more of it comes along.
Is it good or is it just you making it good?
I'm going to say. I mean, I'll watch it again in 10 years. I'll watch them all and see what happens.
Yeah. I also feel there might be another one.
I feel like they kind of opened the door there just in case.
Yes. Don't close the door just in case.
If this does well and we don't get completely annihilated online.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody gets canceled or closed down or shut down or turned off or whatever it is because of any of this, then we will do another one.
Yeah. I could see that happening, actually. I mean, it's the kind of thing we were talking about yesterday, how sitcoms, you can just make a sitcom and keep doing a sitcom over and over, right? It doesn't, all game shows even.
Game shows what we were talking about, yeah.
So with this, you put Axel in another situation, it's another movie. I mean,
right, but that doesn't make it good, as we have discussed. The other movies aren't good versions of this Axel Foley character. So that's not actually true with movie franchises.
But you could definitely make another Axel Foley movie is what I'm getting at.
You could, but that doesn't make it right or
And
good.
now we've introduced his daughter and Bobby.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to be anything because, I mean, that's not Beverly Hills Cop, is it?
No.
If you want to make something new, make it new. If you want to cling to Eddie Murphy while we've got him and the other folks, let's just fuck it. Let's just do it until all of us, our generation, is sitting in our homes.
It's Beverly Hills
with the
Cop.
big giant TV screen on the wall. And we're all just sitting there laughing at Banana in the Pale Tailpipe for the 500th time.
Oh, there was no banana in the tailpipe.
There was not. That's what I'm saying. They're holding out a few of those gags.
I 100% thought there's an end scene, and you said it could have appeared in the middle of the credits. It's the scene that you all know and love from all the other movies where they're doing a stakeout, Billy and who? Taggart. And he'll just like open the back door and get in the car and say, "Hi guys," and talk to them while they're doing a stakeout. So he does that. And I thought that when they went to drive off to get the steak, that the car would start spluttering. I thought that's how it was going to end.
And then he would go,
yeah.
That's not right.
In fact, we should have wrote the movie, right?
You sound like you're dying of choking. Don't do it. You're drowning in your own laughter.
Anyway, that would have been a better ending.
No, not better.
Put the banana in the tailpipe. Oh, don't even show him do the banana in the tailpipe. Just have the car splutter as they start off at the end.
And hear him laughing over the credits. Is that what we're saying?
Yes.
We're so tropey.
Yes.
No, maybe we're getting boring.
I was expecting it, but it didn't happen.
Well, then that's good that it didn't happen.
All right. Extras. We didn't see any because it's on Netflix. Go and watch it. It's on Netflix. Let's give this movie a score. I'm going to give Beverly Hills Cop Axel F a 7 out of 10.
I think 7's fair.
Yeah. I wouldn't, I don't know. Maybe I come back to it in 5 years, like you say, and go, maybe it's dropped a bit. I don't know.
I think if you watch them all.
As far as me having fun sitting down and watching it today, it felt like a 7 out of 10.
Absolutely. So
that's that. That's the definitive answer to
that's
what
how we
this
do
movie.
Shit around here. We go by the seat of our pants.
Yeah.
There's no grand scheme of scoring or anything. It's not like...
No. So thank you to Netflix. Next week, we're looking at a horror movie called Tarot.
Right on.
And that'll be about...
If no one knows, if you haven't listened to us before, horror.
Yeah.
Actually, the subgenre of zombies is my favorite. So anytime you want to show me a horror movie, I'm in. Doesn't matter how crappy it is.
Could be crappy.
I will watch it and then I'll be like, oh, that was crappy. But
anyway, it's a movie called Tarot, and we'll see that next week.
And on a side note, we've been watching Creepshow.
Yeah, I didn't even know it existed.
From the, when was it? 2019?
Yeah, Shudder.
2020?
The TV channel Shudder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's been really fun. I mean, it's not all great or anything, but I mean, it's really fun. I'm enjoying it.
If you liked the anthology style of Creepshow and Twilight Zone and all that, it's a new version of that, basically. But it isn't even a new version of that because it feels old in a way.
Very old fashioned. Again, they're clinging to that old fashioned-y stuff.
Yeah. But there have been some very inventive episodes.
Yeah.
And some which I would really give a high mark to. The VR one, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was really good. I mean, I didn't expect to see something that cool. And if you're an Evil Dead fan, you should definitely watch this series.
And just wait for the episode. And I like the Dollhouse one with Judith from Walking Dead. That was really good.
Yeah. And we haven't finished it. There's 4 seasons altogether.
Excellent.
We're in the 3rd season. All right. So movie recommendations. I'm going to give you 2 of my favorite Eddie Murphy movies, Trading Places and 48 Hours. I think those are my definitive favorite.
Places, again, it's another one of those I can watch over and over.
It's still funny.
It is funny, but is it funny because we were just indoctrinated to it? I don't even care. I'll watch it again. I'm not gonna, I'm not boycotting it.
Mm-hmm.
And my recommendations are going back to the 20th century from 1900 to 1999. Yes, kids, the 1900s, there were movies. Only just to be fair. Yeah, at the very beginning of the 1900s is when they started making movies. And we were born in the 1900s. So I'm just picking random action adventure type movies. And I have The Descent, which was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Spelunking into a place you don't want to spelunk. The Descent 2, which I had to watch the trailer again. I know I watched them because it was on my Halloween years where I do like franchises in a row. It was more forgettable, but I say it's a set, so watch it. Star Trek, the motion picture, which would have been the first one. Prometheus 2010, the year we make contact.
I don't know what that is.
Not sure either. I didn't look.
That's not the movie Prometheus.
I don't know what it is.
It's something else.
It's on my list of movies I've seen.
It sounds like some sci-fi channel stuff.
It might. You know what? That's very possible. Or it could be a documentary. I don't know. I'm going to look it up while we're talking.
Is that it?
That's it. Those are my recommendations. Oh, let's back up a little bit. Okay. Star Trek, the motion picture. Right? Then we have Prometheus, which is a movie. And then we have 2010, the year we made contact.
Right.
It's not Prometheus 2010, the year we made contact.
I get you.
You loved Prometheus.
I do. I really like it.
I love 2010. I mean, it was fine compared to 2001. So that is what that is.
Right.
A little bit of space, a little bit of horror mixed in there for you.
All right. Ascully stuff. I've been playing this game. It's called it's not called The Last Descendant. It's called The First Descendant. The last would be the sequel, probably, right?
Or the end of the series.
Yeah. So it's a new game. I It's free to play, actually. You can get it on Steam. You don't have to pay for it. You saw me playing it yesterday. It's a really good looking game. And I would compare it to, it's like a online, massively multiplayer thing. But I haven't really played with anybody else. I've just been playing it on my own. But I would compare it to something like Gears of War. You're a shooter. You're just shooting stuff. There's missions. You meet people along the way. You get new guns. And another game it's kind of like is Destiny, which I played a lot of. You do a mission, and at the end of the mission, a load of loot drops, and maybe you get a better gun, maybe you don't. And there's like makes you want to keep playing to get the better stuff. Looter shooter, they call them. It's either Japanese or Chinese. So it's very anime looking. Did you see any of it?
I don't think I did, no. I heard it.
I mean, it's a lot of anime looking character design. But the shooting is really fun. And the fact that you don't have to pay for it. And it's really cutting edge graphics. It looks really amazing. I actually feel like I want a game now, which means it's kind of cool. So if you like something like Gears of War, I know Gears of War was called a cover shooter where you actually get in cover and then you shoot from cover. This you don't. It's a third person. You just like run into the battle, shoot everything. It sends loads of waves of enemies at you. When you've lasted a certain amount of time, you get the loot. All the loot comes springing out. And the big thing of this game is it has missions where you fight something called Colossi, and they're big Shadow of the Colossus style. You can climb up on them. It takes like 4 of you to take one down. It's so big. It can be bigger than like a city, like a huge thing.
You know what it sounds like?
What?
Colossus.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I just said.
No, the game.
Yeah, Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah.
It's like that. You've got like grappling hooks. Can fire them and get up on top of these big colossus and shoot them while you're on the back, but then they'll try and throw you off. And all these big bosses, the big giant colossi battles, it's 4 people and it sends 4 of you in. So it'll be you and 3 of your friends or you and some random people off the internet. But I've found even with the random people, everybody seems to do what they're supposed to do. They're not just clowning around. So it's called The First Descendant. It's on Steam. I think it's on the consoles as well. It's completely free. But yes, you can buy cosmetic things if you want to. I haven't bought anything and it's been fine. So, First Descendant, that is it, Cidtalk. What's for dinner?
Tonight we're going to have some baked beans and weenies, as we used to call them when I was a kid, but we are plant-based-ish. We're not vegan, so we're not fully plant-based. We do dairy and eggs, but we don't eat meat anymore. So these are the plant-based hot dogs that you like. I'm going to challenge myself to see if I like them yet.
Oh, I do like those. Yeah.
I haven't liked them yet. And then some potatoes that I grew.
Yeah.
Thank you. Potatoes I grew from other potatoes. If you don't know how to grow potatoes.
Potatoes.
Oh my God. Don't get me started.
Yeah.
Potatoes. And
you say potatoes. I say potatoes.
I'll put a B in front of that. That's it. That's what we're in for supper.
All right. So what's your advice?
My advice is I'm going to say I'm going to live my truth, give you my truth. So today I'm walking out from the store and I'm going to my car and there are 2 pieces of garbage, like a nasty receipt laying in one spot and then one of those bleach wipes that people use to convince themselves that they've cleaned the handle of the shopping cart enough to not get any germs from other people, which I find absolutely hilarious. But hey, whatever it takes, right? Make you feel good. Those are both laying on the ground over by where the carts go. And it was up under the awning of the store. There's like a big cement little patio thing. And I was like, ugh, garbage just laying there. And I pushed my car up to the car, put my stuff in the car. And like for a split second, I'm like, I'm not picking that up. Gross. And there's a trash can, like 15 feet the other direction. I have also my car. I could just put it in my car. But then I was like, oh. And then all of a sudden, a 4th grade conscience hit me. 4th grade. A long time ago, just so everyone knows. This was the 70s. Our teacher was teaching us about not littering. And one of the little lessons was if every single person throws garbage on the ground, then the whole earth will be covered with garbage. And there was a graphic on one of those big notepad things that they used to have that they put on an easel and then flip the page over the top like a big book,
Mm-hmm.
Like a drawing pad, but it had like cartoons on it. And on there, one of the pages was a planet Earth covered with garbage.
Oh,
And then if everybody picks up their own garbage or picks up garbage, then the earth won't be covered with garbage. And so guess what I did?
what did you do?
I picked up the garbage and I threw it away.
Well
my
done.
God. I was like, so, when you just walk past it and you see it and you think, ooh, I'm not talking you to pick up I'm not saying pick up gross stuff like a used condom or something. I mean, that's different. That's a health risk. And who knows what I touched, right?
Mm.
Have I washed my hands since then? Yes, I have. But, if there's some garbage and you can, pick it up and definitely don't throw it down.
I agree.
That's it. That's all I got.
You can go to, let me play some music, Cidtalk. You ready?
Hi.
You can go to ascully.com, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. ascully.com is where you'll find the podcast, and the other places are where you'll find us on social media. I'm Ascully, she's Cidtalk. You can also go to Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, YouTube, anywhere that podcasts are available, you'll find us. Email feedback to ascully@ascully.com. Don't email Cidtalk, she doesn't want your email. And stay classy, Mr. Axel Foley. I'm sure we'll see you again. Maybe not a big gap like this in between them this time.
I'm going to say, think for yourself, because if you're not doing it, someone's happily doing it for you.